Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, to the Cowboy Game Day Live post-game show presented by Texas Card House, where the Cowboys fall 30-24 in the last-ditch effort to go down and win the game, which they had a legitimate shot, and they go for an out. Second half played out like a lot of people thought maybe the first half would play out for the 49ers coming out. I mean, you couldn't ask for a worse start for Dallas coming out in the second half. The 49ers go down in 5 plays, 60 yards, touchdown. Dallas comes out, first 3 plays, all flats to Chase Ferguson. Fried hard. Then they run a tunnel screen to CD. And what I say to you, I said, man, these boys playing scared.
Yep.
Very next play, sprint left, interception, touchdown, 3 and out like 4 times in a row. You couldn't ask for a worse start to the half in the second half, even though they got off to they tried to finish this thing off, but really the game was lost right there.
Yeah, 21 points in the third quarter they gave up.
That was a game.
That literally, there's a game. There's a game for you right there. The Cowboys mucked it up, and it made it just a really ugly game in the first half, and they were up 4 points.
Yep.
And then they came out of half, and it felt like Nick Sorensen and Kyle Shanahan went in the locker room and was like, hey, y'all, we good? Y'all cool?
Y'all ready to turn up?
Y'all ready to play? All right, come on. And they went out there, came out of the half, and then bang, 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 21 points. The Cowboys didn't score anything, and then, of course, at the end of the game, they scored 14 points in the in the fourth quarter. But the game was won in that third quarter. When they came out of half, the Niners decided that they were going to play football both offensively and defensively, and the Cowboys did not have an answer for them.
And they barely were. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a team go 3 and out, 1 and out, I think it was. 3 and out, 3 and out. I mean, seriously, 5 straight possessions, they went 3 and out or 1 and out because of the interception, right? Or I don't know what it was. Maybe it was something, but it said 1 play. I don't know why I said 1 play. Maybe it was the next quarter, not sure. But they had 10 plays.
Oh, it was the kneel down for the half, right?
No, in the third quarter. Until they scored that touchdown, they went like 4 or 5 possessions of 3 and outs. I mean, they ran 10 plays with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It was pathetic. It was awful, and it's so funny, man. Like, I'm just a guy with a microphone and the cameras right there. I just happen to know, a former Dallas Cowboy that turned into a brother. I just happen to, just been blessed to be able to do this. But I said, Jesse, if we're going to remain stagnant, basic, and not unbalanced, get ready for picks and get ready for sacks. And what happened? Picks and sacks. And I tweeted out, Dak's not playing good enough for you to be a bland, one-dimensional offense. He's not playing good ball. So you can't do that. And what happens? Come out there and they lose the game in the same fashion that they kind of been losing these other games, being unimaginative, stagnant. Yeah. Oh, but when they came back in the game, Jesse, what the hell were they doing?
Movement, imagination, creativity. Like, literally, we looked up and they said, how did CD get open twice? Wide open. And you look up and you go, oh,
ran a pick.
There you go. You ran a pick play in the end zone, and then then you motioned at the snap of the ball,
and guess what?
And they ran into each other. Oh, for a touchdown. Huh? Look at there.
Look at that. And then game on the line. What they come out and do, Jesse?
Got stagnant.
I give up. I give up, man.
And honestly,
I give up.
That is the frustrating part. Because
we see you do it.
We see you do it, and it's like you go through your sheet, and you, like, normally good coaches, they'll go through their sheet, and when a play really works, they'll mark it and go, okay.
Circle it with a red, green mark.
Circle it and go, all right, we'll come back to that one. But, like, you look at stuff, and all of a sudden you go back to the things that didn't give you success.
And you know what shocked me about the last, and I'm jumping around here, what shocked me about the last possession is it was a setup for almost the same exact situation in Pittsburgh. The playbook was open to you.
Yeah.
You went out there as if it was 30 seconds left on the clock, and you had to score a touchdown. There was 3 minutes and change left, and you had, did they have a timeout in their pocket? I'm not sure if they did or they didn't. But either way, there's a timeout with a 2 minute. You could have said, hey, look, man, if we got to get 7, 8 yards at a time, we'll get 7, 8 at a time, and then we'll give ourselves a shot once we cross the 50.
But then the first play into that, be thankful Fred Warner just tipped it.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't get it, Lenore was going to intercept
was there.
it. He was standing right there.
Trying to do what? Force it to who?
CD. It's not only was Fred there, Lenore was behind him, and there was a guy actually guarding CD.
Lenore was actually just like waiting for it.
Waiting for it. Fred got in the way. And then the second play, you come out there and you throw a 50-50 down the field ball to Kevontae Turpin.
And you said it in the first half, and we talked about why are we throwing sideline deep routes to 5'0" Turpin? That should be. Granted, you got to catch the ball. I mean, at the end, I get what you said, Justin.
No. You're a professional athlete.
He has to catch that though.
You have to catch that.
Yeah.
You 100% have to catch that. But I just, when you're throwing to a smaller guy like that who is
I don't
not,
like it right there.
He's not used to catching that type of pass. Where he now has to go, and that's a difficult pass for when you're not used to being able to track the ball while you're moving. Completely different than when you're catching a punt and kickoff return. Because I'm moving, I'm fighting with somebody, and I got to track it and try to keep my feet in bounds. It's a different trajectory in the way it's coming at you. It's not like, and to be honest with you, that's even different than tracking the ball. That when you're running an over route and you see the ball coming, I don't know how to fully explain it to get people to understand it, but when you have to take your eyes from up and over to now having the eye-hand coordination opposed to seeing the ball when you're running the deep over, and when you look at a lot of Kevontae's catches, he's a body catcher.
And to boot, how many of those type of catches has Kevontae made?
Right.
He's not used to
those type of catches. And like I said, if you look at most of his catches, he's a body catcher. So to have to track that ball over the shoulder and to catch it into your hands like that, it becomes a difficult pass for him. And then on top of that, he's not, you would like for him to stop, jump up, go get the ball 50 style.
He's not doing that.
He don't have that. He's 5'6".
That's why I don't understand the calls to him, those shots. Because unless he's literally zooming by guys, and the first one didn't really matter. I don't think that was either throw it to the back pylon or nobody's getting it. You know what I'm saying? Then the second one is like, he hasn't made those type of catches. Tolbert can do that.
Right.
CD can do that. You know what I'm saying? Ferg or somebody like that. But not Turpin. But either way, absolutely right. Spot on analysis. Still got to catch that ball. But I don't like him even being in that spot. Right. The very next play, I think he throws it out of bounds, and then the play to Brooks. So in my head, I'm like, that's the best we got with the game on the line? I mean, we fought back to have a chance to go down and win it. You got the stop on defense, and that's what we got? I said this during the week. If this team played like in his losses like it did before, I thought McCarthy wouldn't be able to make it back on that plane. They fought back, so I think he's going to keep his job. But I think we're going to be blinded by how this happened, like the comeback. But it's going to happen, Jesse. You know it.
But when you go back and you watch this, you're going to see, like, even in the first half, like, all right, y'all, we were gifted a couple of situations in the first half with them potentially scoring touchdowns and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were some bad throws that he wasn't even pressured, and Purdy had some throws that were behind, throws that were high. When you go back and you watch this game in this totality, it's going to look a lot like what it was in the third quarter, not what it was towards the end of the game. That makes sense?
No, that's fair. And to add to the criticism coming out the half, even when they went down and they scored a touchdown and went up 10-3, you didn't have to panic and throw the ball over the field. 3 pass plays ended with interception. I bet they go down and score again, Jesse. Now they're up 10-20. All right, we feel a little weird, right? With that 10-point deficit's been rough. All right, they come out. They run it to Zeke, who's been having a good day. He gets 6 yards. What do they do the next 2 plays? No drums, all flats to Jake Ferguson. Short to Kevontae Turpin, punt. We're lost, bro. We have no identity on offense. Our defense is just, we're hoping and praying that teams don't get going. It looked okay in the first half because like you said, we were surviving them calling plays back, holdings. And like you said, I don't know what they did when they went into the second half. They said, you ready? They came out, bink, 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 touchdown. Bink, 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 touchdown. Bink, 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 field goal. Could have easily been touchdowns, but they're like, we'll take points here. They moved the ball with ease until the end. So now it's like, do I get mad at the defense? I don't expect the defense to really play that well, but they're professional athletes. I need them to not give up 21 points in the.
No, I think Kyle Shanahan did what we would have hoped that Mike McCarthy would have done. Michael from Pittsburgh, he went inside and said, "Okay, here's what's working for us. Here are the things that are working for us." And they got back to that running game. They established that running game coming out of the half, and then once that got going, they were then able to use that play action. And then just methodically.
They took advantage of Dono too.
Yes, they got them. Yeah, they got the matchup.
They got the matchups.
He looked and said, "Okay, if this is how they're going to play," because he was bringing more pressure. Zim, he was bringing more pressure than I've seen him use thus far this season. So when they did that, they said, "Okay, well, if they're going to keep number 6 on George Kittle, happy National Tight End Day. We're gonna go to him," and they set it up. They use it. They motioned into it. They got the looks that they want.
Dono chase him across the feet. He cannot do that. And that's another discussion that a lot of fans have been talking about, right? Like, hey man, when we going to see Y.A. Thomas? I think he's your best cover safety, and this is a game where I think we even talked about this last week, where if you wanted to get a guy to come cover Kittle, Thomas was the guy.
Right.
Not any of the safeties you had in there. It was Y.A., but that's something else to kind of look at. Because, again, while the offense was piss poor, I think for most of this game, the defense was piss poor for the second half until that last possession. So it's none of the questions were answered to me. What happened to me is not a shocker because I said if they don't come out here and they remain balanced and they don't get creative, you're going to see that type of performance offensively because this team has Dak's number. Mm-hmm. You can call it McCarthy's number, Kellen's number, whoever the hell, right? They have our number, and the best way to combat that is with creativity and is with being balanced. 10 carries for Zeke, 34 yards. Now, granted, he had 6 for 20-something in the first half. He had a good first half. Just went away from it. I don't even know if Dalvin Cook touched the ball in the second half. Let me look at this real quick. I don't think he might have got 8 carries.
I think he had a carry.
He had 2 carries.
2 carries in the second half.
And he finished with 12 yards. You know what I'm saying? 19, and I'm not calling Dak Prescott's one, but 18 carries, 38 passes. That's not balanced. And the game really wasn't out of reach until 30-17. It was 20-10, and you didn't have to act as if it was 38-3. So I'm almost just sick and tired of repeating the same things week in, week out, and expecting changes. That's why I'm all for change. Will they do it? I don't think so. I think you're gonna hear Jerry say, "Hey man, we hung around the rim. We just gotta put it to the basket."
Yeah, and one thing I don't want us to gloss over it. I think it's going to be a topic of discussion, at least for me on my shows all this week. Is I need answers on what happened with Rico today.
Oh, that's true too.
Like I need answers for that because clearly, whatever you thought was going to happen wasn't good enough, right? Like you kept Dalvin Cook on your practice squad, and you've been ramping, and then on the game day, you didn't lean on Zeke. Like between the two of them, you had 16 carries. So clearly, and this game wasn't this wasn't a game where it was like, oh, this game's out of hand, and we had to go to pass game. Like you were winning at halftime. Like you were legitimately winning at halftime. So you didn't have to go away from the run, and you still weren't able to establish a run. Overall, you were 2.9 yards per carry on the day. That's piss poor.
No, that's a great point to bring up. Don't gloss over that.
No, I don't want that to be lost in the mix of it all because, some may look at it and be like, well, the Cowboys did fight back and all this kind of stuff, but there's a conversation that I need more answers to that.
And really, it started last week, Jesse. Last week. It didn't really – this week, it got more bizarre. Last week, the bizarreness started.
Yeah.
Because you're coming off of a game where Rico Dowdle toted the rock 20 times, touched the ball, I think, 24 times when you count the pass. He's your best receiving back, by the way, on the team, not because you're not throwing it to Deuce. So he's your most proven and best receiving back of date. And then you come out the next game and he gets 3 carries?
Yeah.
Granted, the game got a little bit out of hand, but to start the game, the first few possessions, he wasn't a part of it. Then, okay, bet. The next game, he goes in there, he's rapping, G-L-O, whatever he rapping, right? You know what I'm saying?
He's rapping a new glow.
He rapping a new glow because he feel like he had a glow up a couple weeks ago, and now he going into San Fran, and he the guy.
He the guy.
And next thing you know, they came in there and said, "Hey, you sick? What? Cough." I said, where my button at? Do I got my button? I don't.
You better make sure the button better be on there. You better make sure the button on there.
I'm just saying. They said he's sick, and he didn't look sick, but he got. So what's
crazy.
Going on?
It's crazy to be sick and then go out and sign autographs. Are you going to contaminate the fans? And if you're sick, why you on the sideline with everybody else? Like that's what. If you're sick, if you're too sick to play this game, then maybe you should be in the locker room. Maybe you should have stayed back at the hotel. I don't want you spreading this around. What sickness do you have that is keeping you from lacing them up and stepping out there in the field? Because if it's that sickness, it's probably contagious. It's probably contagious. If it's keeping you from the game.
I'm asking that question, like first question. Because look, if you felt the game was close enough and still in reach or whatever in Pittsburgh to continue to give him the ball, why wouldn't you do that again? And when games are in reach, right? So if you felt, I bet he's inactive, let's lean on Zeke, who was having a decent game, right? He was having a good game in the first half. I don't know what the second half they didn't give the ball, but he's having a good game. Let's say decent. It was good. You didn't lean on him to remain balanced. So clearly you don't believe in him enough. So if you don't believe in him, obviously Cook, we'll see what happens. We don't know. But Rico was the one time it felt like you had some belief in a running back to remain balanced. And you sat that man down basically last week, and you literally sat him down this week. Why? I need answers. I need answers, Sway.
Yeah.
What was that about?
And I'm not letting that go. Like that is a topic of conversation for every show this week. What happened to Rico Dowdle? Because you praised him and you said that this was the back going forward, that he was going to be the back that you wanted to give the bulk of the carries to. And from all the reporters that were there and the reports that were coming out of Santa Clara, the reporters were saying, and you saw the video, he walked out of the tunnel and was signing autographs. You saw him standing on the sideline. Didn't look very sick to me. I'm no doctor. Did not look very sick to me. Did not look like a person that was sick enough that he could not strap up and go out there and play a football game.
McCarthy's at the podium right now. I'm pretty sure he's answering these questions, but I don't think it should stop today. He's going to just fire off PC answers. I would continue to dig deep. Talk to some assistant coaches, talk to whoever in the front office. Jerry's going on the radio. I mean, where would we be without Jerry going on the radio saying who we going to get to play for the 49ers? But, it's just another frustrating loss, another one of those you just knew was going to happen. Right? Well, they'll storm back and give you hope, and then they're just going to let you down there. But kind of predictable one, though, to me, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, coming into this game, we knew what it was going to be, right? We knew what the challenges that Kyle Shanahan and his offense gives to this defense. And when they got into their groove, you saw it show its face. If I have to take anything positive from this game, I think this is one of those games where you saw a young player like Demarion Overshown grow up a little bit. You saw him come out into this game and make some plays. You saw him flying around. Yeah. And that's a good thing to see, because we talk, we talk all year long about, the more plays that the players play, the better that they get.
You can see it with him.
I don't believe that, but I should say I don't believe that. I don't necessarily believe that theory is true for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can give players more and more reps and they suck more and more and more. But for Demarion Overshown, it looks like the reps that he's getting, he is on the trajectory of it's working out for the better. Yeah, and on top of that, too, we'll go back and we'll watch it. Outside of the one holding, you didn't kind of hear much from Tyler Guyton.
I didn't. Now, he ain't had to deal with Bosa. Bosa said, I'm just going to eat Terrence Steele's lunch.
Right. But, I mean, he struggled against some other guys who weren't as good. So there may be some things to take away from that in a positive.
If we're staying on there, there's something from Zim I liked what I saw. He decided to play all the gaps with six dudes up front, and until Garendo got up in there, it was working. So maybe that's something he can look into do.
I don't know if that's sustainable, man. I don't know if that's a sustainable plan.
Hey, I'm putting you. Look, you gonna be in the Z, X, Y, W, R. He had everybody in all the gaps and said, Kendricks, just guess.
But you know the funny part about, and I had this stat this morning, because I said earlier in the week, if I was them coming into this game,
sell out.
Over my dead body, would you be able to run the football on me? I'm putting all the guys in the box.
Hold on. What? Is this right? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
They had 223.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So they still had 223 yards.
I'll take that back.
And it goes along. The stat that I had earlier was in the 3 losses for the Cowboys this season, they gave up an average of.
Brock Purdy. Okay.
Purdy
took off a couple times.
He took off for 56. Hey, Dak, if you saw what Brock Purdy did, do that.
Dak can't do that no more.
Do something similar to that. You know what I'm saying? Do that a little bit. You know what I mean? But
he got a short area burst where he burst up and then he done. That's it.
Like that Chanel. It's like,
and then he go to the side.
But I said coming into this game, 216 yards is what they gave up in the rushing game in those 3 losses this year. 223. The second half of that stat that I did not even tell you was that the Cowboys were 4th in the NFL at loading the box. So meaning adding 7 or 8 more guys into the box. Teams still had a 52% rate in running the football into it. They consider a successful run 4 more yards. So even with the Cowboys loading the box,
teams are still whooping your
ass.
Teams,
there's a 52% success rate of a team getting 4 yards or more what you have in a loaded box. And so if you go down to the stats, 223 yards, 6.2 yards a carry.
I mean, and it's now I don't call it a trend, but it's who they are now. This is 4 games, and for 4 teams that run the ball well, you've been terrible at it.
Yep.
Now, you've had spots in this game where it was good, but even still, when Guerrero got in the game, Guerrero averaged 6.1 yards per carry.
Yeah.
6.1.
That's pretty good.
Okay, on 14 carries. So if Guerrero plays the whole entire time, Guerrero probably gets 150 yards.
True.
In this game. You know, I think it was Jordan Mason who got dinged up early, tried to keep going. You can clearly tell something was wrong. They said, we're going to put the young rookie that run a 4.32 with some burst in there, and pow, he just hit you upside the head.
Look at this. Crazy that you can find a running back in the 4th round.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. So you can just use that 4th round pick.
Wow, look at that burst there. Look at that wiggle. Look at it making guys miss.
Yeah, look at that.
Explosive plays.
Yeah, found him in the 4th round. And we just plug and play him.
19-yard run for him, 39-yard for Ricky. I guess Ricky might have been kind of a backwards pass. I don't know. Either way,
that was the reverse.
The reverse.
The jet sweep thing. I mean,
there you go.
Yeah.
So you're 4
Shout
for
out
4.
of a cannon. That's too early for that. Sorry, Ricky.
It's not.
Too early. It's not.
No.
He's healthy now.
He's healthy. He's out there playing.
Shot right over the cannon.
Man. That's the guy right there. But yeah, man. So at this point, until proven otherwise, when I go look at the team we're playing, does that team run the ball well? Bet they're going to run the ball well against Dallas. And you're 4 for 4. The only time you've been good against teams that on the ground are teams that aren't good against. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't a good run team. They'll run it all the time, but they ain't good at it. The Giants suck at it. The Browns suck at it. And you've been good. But moving forward, if you have a decent running back, a decent rushing attack, expect the Cowboys to get ran on, man. That's just
facts. Well, let me just look up here right quick.
I got you. Falcons.
Yeah, I was about to say what
Eagles.
It was. Yeah, BJ. What was that? BJ.
Washington. Texans. Mixon. Washington's running with anybody back there. Saquon Barkley. Robinson. Oh, and their offensive coordinator comes from the McVay-Shanahan tree. So, get ready for more of that, bro. But that's all we got for you today, Cowboys Nation. It is time now, Jesse, for our final thoughts. And our final thoughts, like I told you guys before, we are going to call the final thoughts The River. Brought to you by Texas Card House. Join the premier poker experience of Texas Card House, where the thrill of the game meets the excitement of the community. Discover our 6 premier locations across Texas. Each venue offers a unique poker experience, bringing the best of competitive and recreational play to every corner of the Lone Star State. TCH offers a unique blend of luxury, sophisticated, and camaraderie, making them the premier destination for poker aficionados in the area. Whether you are a seasoned pro or you're just starting out, you'll find everything you need. A very welcoming community and top-notch facilities at Texas Card House. So, on the river, it's the last card of the last street, the last card you get. So we'll give our final thoughts heading out, Jesse.
For me, coming to this game, I thought that the Niners would win this football game, and they did. But we keep asking Dak Prescott, and I don't want to be unfair to him, but I also want to call a spade a spade.
You got to be fair. He's not playing well.
He's not playing a good brand of football.
No.
And that's maybe a collection of him not being in a suitable offense, probably not having the proper weapons that he needs. But there are times where you need Dak to elevate his game, to elevate those around him. And in this game today, especially in the moments where it mattered the most, in the first half, and especially in that third quarter, he came up small. And you saw the graphic on the game. This is the third game in a row that Dak has thrown 2 interceptions. That hasn't happened since the 1990s when Troy Aikman was doing it. And
he had a team that didn't get by with that. They won the Super Bowl that year. So
and right now
he cannot do that with
can't
this
do
team.
that. And right now he's on pace to exceed the interception total that he had
his career high.
In his career high. Yeah. So for Dak, he has to find a way to reel it back in. And I don't have the answers. I know that he can't play this well and this team have a chance to win a football game. I mean, he can't play this bad and this team have a chance to win football games.
The only chance they have is if he plays better than it. Like, that's the only chance because there's nothing else to fall back on. And that kind of goes into my final thought, the river here, is somehow, some way they have to find something else. This is, what are we in, 7th game?
7th
if
game.
I'm not mistaken, I'll go back and double check it. There's only been one game where a running back has had more than 10 carries in the game.
Was that Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh. I don't expect anything to change if we are going to be so badly one-dimensional and we also are not going to have a quality scheme. You're going to continue to get, I think, Dak trying to play hero ball, trying to score 14 points with in the first quarter, playing down, we're 38-3 in the first with 10 minutes. Like, that's not his game.
Right.
It's never been his game. Do you want him to do that when you need him to do that from time to time? Sure. Week in, week out? No. Absolutely freaking not. So my final thought here, I expect to see more of the same unless something drastically changes. And then we're talking offensively. Defensively is a whole different ballgame. But offensively, if they don't change something in their approach, nothing is changing from this offense. Expect more turnovers, expect sacks, expect to be one of the worst, if not the worst, rushing team, and expect some random spurts during the game where they do score, but it's not enough, man.
Yeah, and honestly, we have to call a spade. This is a bad football team. Like, no matter how we want to break this thing down, this is a bad football team. And to be honest,
from the rooter to the tutor,
all of it. All of it. And if we're being completely honest, not saying that they won't win, but they could easily lose the next 4 games.
Sure.
Like, they could easily.
They're not playing bums.
No. Like, Atlanta's playing good football. That could be an L. The Texans are playing good football. The Eagles are playing some damn good football. They got all their weapons back healthy. And then who is the 4th game? And then the Washington Commanders. Like, you could lose the next 4 games and be on a 5-game losing streak. Your next chance at getting an opportunity to win a football game is when you play the Giants in Week 13.
I don't think they'll be favored until then. Maybe.
Yeah. This is a bad football team, and we have to just call that, And I didn't even like the fact to watch CD on the sideline smiling as much as he was smiling.
Well, we was joking about it, but we like CD got his.
He got hit, yeah.
He got his. He got 13 for 52 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was up there.
He got his. And I'm with you. That's one of those situations where, again, I hate to bring this up because it's very random, but I was watching this documentary of the Boston Red Sox storming back in 2004. I remember when that happened. It was amazing. Down 3-0 to the Yankees. Johnny Damon had hit a grand slam earlier in the game to go up like 6-1, and he ran around the bases. He said, I didn't smile, didn't celebrate or nothing because we've been here before. He hit another home run to put them up more. Like, they were blowing him out at this point. He said, I didn't smile, I didn't do nothing, I didn't celebrate. He just ran around the base. He said, it's not over. We've been here before and we've lost. That's the type of that. Why are we so jovial? I get it. You don't get many of these games or whatever. But it looked like we came back and won the game. That's how it looked. And it's like, you happy with this, bro? You happy with this? If you happy with this, then that tells me all I need to know.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll leave it at that, man. I'll let y'all sit on that one on the way out. This has been a Cowboy Game Day Live post-game show presented by Texas Car House, live from Kanvas Sports and Social. We'll be back here next week. Cowboys get the Falcons. I don't know if they're at home. Oh, they're in Atlanta.
They're in Atlanta.
They're in Atlanta. And those boys are playing good ball.
Yeah.
At least offensively. I don't even know if they won today. I just know that they've been playing good ball offensively. And
they did. They beat Tampa Bay 31-26.
All right. Well, get ready. You know, get ready to have to go out there and put your best foot forward.
There is good news, though.
What's that?
The good news is,
but wait.
It's a news game. It's a noon game.
Oh, that's great news for us. Hold on. That's great news for us, baby. Let's go. Maybe not for Dallas. They've been sucking the new game.
Don't care.
But for us, we will take it. So with that said, I'm going to press this button to get the heck up out of here, baby. We out of here, man. Love y'all. Peace.